Hey everyone, hi, welcome. Now, just recently I attended a webinar of Dr. Vivek Bindra, sir. It was how to start a startup. I have like no words how blown I am by the level of knowledge that he has given. It's like completely mind blowing. But here are a few things that I learned and will implement in my business. And I just thought to share all of those learnings with you so that, of course, see that webinar is, now it's not available. Now, Dr. Vivek Bindra is going to just take out this webinar out of his YouTube channel. So what you can do is just whatever the notes that I have to just see what all points am I going to implement and see if it's possible whether you can implement it or not. And it will of course for sure benefit you. So if you're a freelancer, if you're a startup, if you're an entrepreneur, it would surely benefit you, right? So अभी मैं शुरुआत करता हूँ and I will just start this in Hindi, okay? And oh, no doubt, I'm not like Dr. Vivek Bindra, but I have like written my own notes. And Dr. Vivek Bindra sir himself has said to write my own notes, right? So I'm sharing this you step by step by step. So the journey first started with हमें अपने गोल्स को आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहिए कि अगर हम फ्रीलांसर बने हैं तो कैसे एग्जैक्टली क्यों हम बने हैं, राइट? और ये जर्नी जो स्टार्ट होती है, सो द जर्नी स्टार्ट्स फर्स्ट यू बिकम अ फ्रीलांसर, देन यू बिकम अ सोलोप्रेन्योर, देन यू बिकम अ एंटरप्रेन्योर. सो दिस ग्राफ इज जस्ट लाइक दिस. जैसे आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बनते हो फिर उसके बाद अपने बिजनेस को स्केल अप करोगे, राइट? सो फर्स्ट यू हैव टू बिकम अ फ्रीलांसर, राइट? और सारे अपने अपने सेगमेंटेशन पे डिवाइडेड है. नाउ फर्स्ट इज इफ यू आर फ्रीलांसर, so these are few things that you need to take care of. These things I call it as, number one is you should sharpen your skills no matter what. Then afterward, number two is uh, number two is you should listen to your skills and sharpen it every single day. Third is you should do your own SWOT analysis. Now SWOT analysis is something like आपका strength, weakness, opportunity और threat, ये सब कुछ आपको देखना पड़ेगा. And believe me guys, let me just give you a quick tip over here. अभी right, let me just give you a quick tip over here. Now if you are like someone who don't know कि ये कैसे करे, देखो अभी डॉक्टर विवेक बिंद्रा सर ने ऑफ कोर्स क्लूज तो दे दिए, बट व्हाट वी कैन डू हियर इज वी कैन जस्ट like go to Google, search for it, or even he has his own entrepreneurship, everything about the entrepreneurship program. You can just register for that, right? So here's what are the things he had mentioned. Number one is you should sharpen your acts. That is what we call it as अपने स्किल्स को अपने शार्प करना चाहिए. फिर उसके बाद में अपने अपना स्वॉट एनालिसिस करना चाहिए. फिर उसके बाद में अपने देखना चाहिए डाइवर्सिफाई डाइवर्सिफाई डाइवर्सिफाई, यानी आपने देखना चाहिए कि मैं और क्या कर सकता हूँ और क्या कर सकता हूँ और क्या कर सकता हूँ, राइट? ओनली बीइंग अ फ्रीलांसर, ऑलराइट? नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज वंस यू बिकम अ फ्रीलांसर, then here are like few things that Dr. Bindra sir said that you should be looking forward is you should like know that what sort of like operations that you are up to, then what sort of like trainings you are taking, Wi-Fi conditions, and you should take care of your health or yes chala, right? Then the next point was, then the next point is after you're a good freelancer and you are like specialized in your own particular niche, that's the time when you go to the next level, what we call it as the solopreneur. And that's the time where you start doing all of those experiment on your own. At that point of time, here are a few things that Dr. Vivek Bindra sir suggested that you should be doing. See, being a solopreneur, you need to take care of every single thing, especially like contracts, then marketing, segmentation, and all of the stuff. But here's a beautiful advice that Dr. Vivek Bindra sir gave. Here are two things that you can delegate and outsource all of these activities to. Number one, please make a note of this. It is called it as starters CFO, right? It is starters CFO. So अभी क्या होगा, जैसे ही आप स्टार्टर सीएफओ के पास जाओगे तो ये सारा आपके फाइनेंस अकाउंटिंग ये सारा जो आपसे टेंशन हटा देंगे. तो इसका मतलब क्या होगा, आप अपने काम पे फोकस कर सकोगे एंड यू कैन ग्रो, राइट? So this is what I'm going to implement. Another thing that I'm going to implement is number one is startup CFO. Number two is legal CEO. All right. So now this is someone who can take care of all of your legals and all of those stuffs, right? And even Dr. Vivek Bindra sir gave their phone number as well. Please make a note of this. It's 9990 111 981. All right. So this is what Vivek Bindra sir suggested. And next comes the process that comes that I call it as market segmentation. Now what does like market segmentation include? Market segmentation मतलब आपको मार्केट को सेगमेंट करना पड़ेगा, आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या क्या किया जा सकता है. Now I won't go too much deep into it, but I'll just quickly tell you the points that I wrote down. Then you have to do the survey. फिर बाद में आपको एक ऑर्गेनाइज रिसर्च करना पड़ेगा. फिर आपके जो एंड यूजर्स है आपको उनसे मीट करना पड़ेगा. फिर बाद में आपको ना अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन समझने पड़ेंगे, और ये एप्लीकेशन क्या होंगे? नंबर वन इज कस्टमर, फिर उनकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, और फिर बाद में उनके पार्टनर्स, फिर उनके मार्केट साइज, और फिर बाद में कंपटीशन क्या है आपका, फिर बाद में कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एसेट्स क्या है, और आपको देखना है कि आपकी और अपना जो नीश है उसमें आप और कितना नैरो डाउन हो सकते हो, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाट आई कॉल इट एज लाइक मार्केट सेगमेंटेशन में इस पॉइंट पे मैं और बाद में ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करने वाला हूँ. ऑलराइट, नाउ द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज द कस्टमर profilization, right? So Vivek Bindra sir ने यहाँ पे बहुत ही अच्छा example दिया that he said that there are like 4 types of excuse me, I can see over here 2. All right, so there are 3 types of different customer profilization. Number 1 is blue chip. नंबर 1 blue chip है, नंबर 2 है focused pilot market, नंबर 3 है total address of market that I call it as TAM. तो ब्लू चिप यानी क्या? ब्लू चिप यानी आपके जो एकदम हाईएस्ट पेइंग कस्टमर्स है, जो आपको हमेशा ग्रोथ देते हैं, आपको हमेशा रेवेन्यू देते हैं, एंड दोज आर लाइक हाई टिकट क्लाइंट्स. यू शुड लाइक फोकस ऑन देम. ऑलराइट, फिर उसके बाद में फोकस्ड पायलट मार्केट. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग कि आपका एग्जैक्ट टारगेट ऑडियंस कौन सा है, which is the exact target audience that you should be looking for. So, and this this principle also was taught to me by one of my mentors. His name was Ron Malhotra. He said that first all you need to do is specialize into some sort of market, and after specializing you just need to diversify. So that's what you can do. Then after that, what you can do is that I call it as TAM, total address market. तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा आपका total address market size कितना है. Now there's a like beautiful formula over here that you can implement, that I call it as number of end users into annual revenue per user. So that will give you total average size of your market. All right. सो जैसे ही आप अपना कस्टमर प्रोफाइलाइजेशन करते हो, फिर उसके बाद में आपको डिसीजन मेकिंग यूनिट, आपका जो डिसीजन मेकिंग यूनिट है, आपको उस पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. एंड हियर आर फ्यू पॉइंट्स दैट यू शुड मेक श्योर ऑफ. नंबर 1 इज यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई नीड्स, और फिर उसके बाद में आपको इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करना पड़ेगा. फिर उसके बाद में आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि आपके कस्टमर्स पे सेकेंडरी इन्फ्लुएंस किनका होता है, और फिर उसके बाद में आपको देखना पड़ेगा अलग अलग अपॉर्चुनिटीज. जैसे यहाँ पे विवेक सर ने एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत कॉन्सेप्ट इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, व्हाट आई कॉल इट एज वेटो पावर. ऑलराइट, वेटो पावर यार गूगल कर लो यार, यू कैन फाइंड दोस ऑल ऑफ दोस. आई जस्ट क्विकली समराइज यू, क्योंकि ये कहीं पे और अवेलेबल नहीं है, एंड आई एम नॉट श्योर कि किसी ने जितने डिटेल्स में मैंने नोट्स बनाए किसी ने बनाए भी होंगे. ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट इज you have to like do market research, not based on the intuition. So the topic was market research versus intuition. So here's like few things Dr. Vivek Bindra said. So most of entrepreneurs, what they do is they take decision based on their intuition. Either they should take decision based on market research, right? So अभी उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए, एक छोटा सा टेस्ट करना चाहिए जो वो कहते हैं. ये टेस्ट में आप कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हो, जैसे आपने क्लाइंट से पहले ही ऑर्डर के पहले या सर्विस के पहले पैसे मांग सकते हो, फिर उसके बाद में कुछ डिपॉजिट्स मांग सकते हो, फिर लेटर ऑफ इंटेंट, और फिर उसके बाद में स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटेंट. आप ये कुछ चीजें कर सकते हो जिससे आप देख सकते हो कि आपका जो स्टडी है वो इंट्यूशन पे बेस्ड है या मार्केट रिसर्च पे बेस्ड है. ऑलराइट, नाउ मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट व्हिच वाज द प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट. Alright, now when it comes to product development, Vivek Bindra sir said this factor, what I call it as MVBP, minimum viable business project. तो minimum viable business project, इसमें कुछ 3 points आते हैं. Number 1 is customer gets value, customer pays for your product, product is sufficient. Alright, फिर उसके बाद में most important thing in product development I found was, see there's a saying that जो भी आपका कस्टमर the product development that you're doing, you should do it more based on the data, and you should not operate on your based on your intuitions, right? So विवेक बिंद्रा सर ने उनका जो एवरीथिंग अबाउट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कोर्स है उसमें काफी अच्छी तरह से like सारे like statistics निकाले, right? and this is also like being an entrepreneur, this is the next level that I'm looking forward to. अभी मेरा business जो है फिलहाल like it's something on a scale की मतलब it's going on good, like we are getting returns, we are getting we are almost like a six figures company right now. uh, but अभी हमें क्या करना है, we have to get like too much deep into it and we have to get into that data thing, right. और उसके लिए मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ, and even you can do this, that I'm going to read this book called as Lean Analytics. Next is build your brand. So Vivek Bindra sir ने जैसे ये कहा था, now if you're a freelancer, what you can do is you can build your personal brand, and if you're a startup, you can build your personal brand and then like specialize into this. All right. So जैसे आप खुद का brand build करोगे तो इसमें कुछ processes है. जैसे number one, you have to become expert in your niche, and then number two is you have to start marketing yourself. By marketing, what you can do is you have to build your own social media presence. All right. और social media presence कैसे बनाए, it's like very you can just find it out. All right. नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज द कस्टमर एक्विजिशन. ठीक है, तो अब तक क्या हुआ, मतलब हमारा सारा लाइक बेस बन गया. अभी सबसे जरूरी जो है वो है कस्टमर कैसे एक्वायर करे. So to acquire any sort of customers, what you can do is number one, you can build your own startup portfolio. All right. फिर उसके बाद में now please make a note of this, because I know like many entrepreneurs face this sort of challenges. Of course maybe face कर सकता था, but I don't know, I leave it up to God. But मुझे clients का कभी नहीं होता है. All right. ना ही like, and all of those are like high tickets client. So few things are, number one, you should be doing introspection. Introspection यानी कि आप खुद से कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ लो. आपको ये क्वेश्चन पूछना है, how will customer know about my brand? Number one. Number two, how will customer know how analyzation of my product? Number three is how will customer know how to acquire my product? Number five is how will customer pay for my products? Number six is importance. नहीं सिर्फ पांच ही है, ठीक है, सिर्फ फाइव, राइट. देन द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज यू हैव टू बिल्ड योर ओन नेटवर्क. ऑलराइट. देन उसके बाद में आपको अपने आपके प्रोस्पेक्ट्स को क्वालिफाई करना पड़ेगा. एंड देन हियर आर like few things, tips and small suggestions that like Vivek sir gave. Like you have to build your authority, you have to build your inner circle, you have to like do cold callings, you have to network with local agencies, and then what, yeah, you have to like master like new tools, especially in your industries. And you can even do like free consultations, you can start monthly newsletters, you can build website for startups. So these are like few things that you can do. Now the next thing is जैसे आपको like customers आने start होते हैं, the next thing is the sales cycle of customer acquisition. So आपको इसमें like you have to again get into deep, that I call it as you have to know the number of day required to acquire any sort of customer. Next is you have to know the length of sales cycle, and next of that is you have to know the COCA calculation. All right. Now guys, try to understand few concepts here are out of my brain as well, but after this of course I'm going to see this in everything about entrepreneurship course, or else I will see this in what I call it as on Google. या विवेक सर का इतना फ्री लाइब्रेरी है, I can just search in that, right. तो जैसे अभी आपके पास कस्टमर्स आने लगे और फिर उसके बाद में एक साइकिल भी बन गया है, देन आफ्टरवर्ड्स आफ्टर दैट व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू हैव टू मेक श्योर यू हैव अ सॉलिड प्राइसिंग स्ट्रैटेजी. अब इस प्राइसिंग स्ट्रैटेजी में क्या है, यू हैव टू आस्क बजट. ऑलराइट. फिर उसके बाद में आपको एक बंडल्ड प्राइसिंग देना पड़ेगा, आपके पास कुछ टेस्टिमोनियल्स होने चाहिए, और एंड you have to calculate your fee structure as well. Calculate fee structure का एक फॉर्मूला बताया था. And yeah, so here was like most like most important part out of the pricing strategy, that was you have to find your exact pricing model, right. So that could be anything, that could be like upselling, or that could be like something like franchisee model, and that could be something like ARPU. अब ARPU क्या होता है मुझे भी नहीं पता. I'm going to Google it. All right. Really man, the session was like mind blowing. The next step was the negotiation. जैसे आप pricing कर लोगे, फिर आपको negotiate करना पड़ेगा. When it's come to negotiation, you have to understand the deep points, you have to do research on the particular clients. And here's something that Vivek Bindra sir suggested, that don't lower your prices. Instead of that, increase the value that the like the prospect would get. All right. Then the next step is I call it as quantify your value proposition. So it's very well said, that people like don't want like, for example, I have like my own like video editing firm. I have like huge organization of videopreneurs. So my clients really don't care about for example, let's say कि मुझे वीडियोस मिल रहे हैं या नहीं मिल रहे हैं, उससे उनको कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. What they actually want is, they want what sort of, what we call it as, the result that they get out of the videos. So what I do is, instead of saying them, sir मैंने आपको videos दे, मैं उनको कह सकता हूँ, sir मैंने जो आपको videos दिए उससे आपको ये मिला. Alright, so that's what we meant by quantify your value proposition. Then next step is off season and dry time. Now the off season and dry time is something like like something like कि अगर समझो आपके if your product का like season नहीं है, तो आप कैसे करें. So you can do here like few things, or you can volunteer, you can give free gifts, you can do content marketing, you can become like strategic partner of someone else. और फिर उसके बाद में Vivek sir gave this concept to us that we call it as COCA, cost of customer acquisition. We have to find that, और इसके कुछ formulas भी दिए गए थे. Vivek sir के already कुछ videos है, you can find out in that. And the next step is be there, prepare, say you care. All right. So at this point of time, you have to say them that we do care, क्योंकि अभी सब कुछ हो चुका है, right? Pricing से लेके सब कुछ brand भी बन चुका है आपका. बस you have to build that sort of trust. Moving to the next, right? So abhi now you have already built your like complete entrepreneurial circle, entrepreneur like cycle. But Abhi, now what you need to do is you have to move to the next market, right? To build like like the scalable business, you have to move to the next market. So next market to move kaise kare? So here's some formula that Vivek sir gave. Number one is, and most important, this was like an aha moment for me. That was, you have to find your core. You have to define your core. That what exactly do you stand for? All right. For example, जैसे जैसे अगेन फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपको एग्जांपल देना हुआ, फॉर एग्जांपल like Apple stands for technology. Now no one can like no one can beat this sort of like projects, I mean this sort of like mobiles, especially when it comes to technology, that what Apple stood for. So वैसे आपका स्टार्टअप किसके लिए स्टैंड होता है? Alright, so we videopreneurs, we stand for we are the most affordable, we are the most convenient, we are the most fastest, and we are the most trustable videopreneurs in the entire marketplace. All right, then the next step is, just a second, then the next step is, yeah, I'm back. Right, the next step is how to scale your business. Right, so when it comes to scaling your business, there are few points that you should be taking care of. Number one is what Vivek Bindra sir suggested was, you should follow this rule, what I call it as IDEAL, ideal. So it means integration, delegation, elimination, automation, and liberation. Right, so जैसे आप इस scale पे focus करोगे, you'd start like scaling your business. All right, so after scaling your business, then the step that comes actually is what I call it as technology for speed and scaling up the team. So after that, once you start scaling up your business, that's the point where you need to embed technology into your business. So I guess like this point would take something around, like we as a company, it would take something around like I guess like more than 3-4 years. But yes, so this is what it would take. Then the next part is like building and maintaining the consistency of the company and scaling into the new marketplaces. All right, so this way some of, right, again some of few strategies that I mentioned, that I like learned out of Vivek Bindra sir's session. And no doubt that this was like completely mind-blowing session. But and of course like Vivek Bindra sir said that you should take your own notes, and I just thought like if Vivek Bindra sir gave the permission, of course like I can share my notes as well, right? So again, it was mind-blowing session, and I'm damn sure like if next time any such sessions happen, I'm like 100% for it. If if you're someone into my network, do watch, like do subscribe to channel and watch his upcoming sessions. And if you're something very keen to learn about entrepreneurship, you must buy his upcoming course, like which is everything about entrepreneurship course. All right. So no doubt that this man gives like huge tons of value. And of course, like I'm super proud that especially he's the Indian and he's doing such like wonders, right? So this is it, guys. So I thought hope even you being an entrepreneur, this few points are valuable for you, so that even you can like scale or grow your business. All right. So if it was very valuable, do let me know in the comment box below, and feel free to subscribe my channel, and please share this channel, because please share this video, because the more the video will get the view, more probably my chances of getting some sort of like small gift, which is given by Dr. Vivek Bindra sir. All right. So this is it, guys. So I hope all of these points which I gave to you, those were valuable, and I'm ending this video with a high note that I'm done. Right, I'm done. Nothing more than that. But make sure, guys, next session ever of Vivek Bindra, don't ever miss it. All right. So this is Harish Ranvir, the Videopreneur, signing off. Thank you.